Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, here at the fair, we have a ride that will bring your heart rate to new heights. It'll drop you to low lows, and it'll spin you from side to side. That's right, we have a brand new roller coaster here at the fair for your enjoyment. Buckle up, strap in, and have a great time. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you enjoyed the virtual roller coaster ride that you just got to take. And if you've ever been on a real roller coaster, then you know that they are filled with ups and downs that make the butterflies in your stomach just go crazy, just like... So, someone whose life was a lot like a roller coaster is Joseph, who we've been learning about for the past 8 weeks now. And today we are officially to our final and last at the fair lesson, where we're gonna wrap up everything with Joseph and finally bring his crazy story to a conclusion. Joseph had no way of knowing how his story was going to end, but every step of the way he trusted God, and God worked everything out for good. Joseph went from favorite son to a slave to a trusted servant to a prisoner to being the second in command in Egypt. When he saw his brothers bow down before him, because remember guys, if you saw last week's lesson, his brothers came to Egypt to borrow some grain, and Joseph was there. They didn't recognize him, and he was able to pull a couple of pranks on them while also sending them home with the grain that they needed. When he saw his brothers, he knew that his crazy ride had finally come to an end. Open up your Bibles to Genesis chapter 45. We're going to go through verses 1 through 15. So this comes right after Joseph's brothers had returned again with their youngest brother Benjamin. Because remember, Joseph said, I want to meet your youngest brother. Maybe he can say who you really are, because he was pretending that he thought they were spies and all of that stuff. So when Joseph finally saw all of his brothers back together, he could no longer control himself, and he was like, okay, I can't keep up this prank. I've got to just come clean and tell the truth. And so he kind of just gets really emotional and says, everyone leave me alone. And so he sends all of his attendants away, all of his servants away, so that it'll just be him and his brothers when he tells them the truth. Joseph goes up to his brothers, and it's just them in the room. And Joseph says, I have to tell you the truth. I am Joseph. I am your brother. Is our father still alive? But the brothers don't really believe that he is who he says he is still. Because again, remember, Joseph had pulled this prank that, you know, playing into the role that, yep, I'm just the governor of Egypt and I'm getting you guys into trouble. And so they're still kind of afraid of him. So Joseph is like, no guys, really, I'm your brother. I'm Joseph. Come closer and then you'll see. Because he's trying to convince them that, you know, look, I'm telling you the truth. I've been Joseph the whole time. I just didn't say anything before. So the brothers kind of come closer and they're really hesitant. And Joseph is like, so I'm your brother, the one that you sold into slavery, which is how I got to be here. But don't feel bad, because I see now that all of this was part of God's plan so that I could rule Egypt and have a great family here. And I see now that it wasn't you, brothers, who put me here. It was God. So Joseph is basically telling his brothers not to feel guilty, because he understands now that it was all part of God's plan. Just like last week we talked about, it was his brothers that did all these terrible things to him. But Joseph has almost no anger about that. He doesn't try to get revenge. The worst he does is he pulls a couple of pranks on them. So it's really interesting that he still loves his brothers so much and forgives them even after everything that happened. And that's a great example of how we're supposed to live too, right? So Joseph basically says, gosh, I love you guys, I forgive you guys, go back home, get all your families, pack up all your things, and come back here. You'll live with me in Egypt. You guys can enjoy the land, you can enjoy the food, and your families will be able to really prosper living here, because otherwise the famine would have been really hard on them. So, a pretty happy ending for everyone involved. Joseph is happy. He's taking great care of his family, of his brothers and his father and all of their families. Pretty awesome. So Joseph had no way of knowing how his story was going to end. When he was sleeping in the slave quarters at Potiphar's house, he never dreamed that one day he would be master of his own palace. When he was in the dungeon in Egypt, he had no way of knowing if he was ever going to be free again. What's amazing is that he kept his faith through it all, and God was with him, and he trusted in that. God put Joseph in the right place at the right time to impress Pharaoh, to save Egypt, and ultimately to save his family. Joseph's story can give comfort to any of us going through hard times, which in 2020, a lot of people are. 2020 has pretty much been the biggest roller coaster of them all for many of us. But the point is, when we feel like there's no hope and we can't see a way out and we don't understand what on earth is going on and how it's going to work out, we can think back to Joseph. We can think back to the roller coaster of a life that he had and remember that it all worked out for good because God was with him all the time and God had a plan that led to great things. God will always make a way. He sees situations better than we do, and he understands things more than we ever could. God knows exactly where we're headed, and he was faithful to Joseph, just like he will be faithful to you, to me, and to all of us. If we're riding this roller coaster of life, we might not have the choice to pick the twists and the turns and the ups and the downs, but we can choose who we want to ride the roller coaster with. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna choose to ride the roller coaster with God and to let him direct the course and be that seatbelt that we all need. So guys, just remember, God will always be on your side through every single up, through every single down, through every single twist and turn and crazy situation, whether it's coronavirus or a difficult test at school or losing a family member that you love. Whatever the crazy time might be, please remember that God is with you, he is right there alongside of you, and he has a great plan for the big picture, even if it's something that we can't understand yet. So place your faith in God and God will work it out for good. Just like it says in Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. In all of your ways, obey him. Then he will make your path smooth and straight. I hope you've enjoyed this At the Fair series. I've had a lot of fun teaching it, and I hope you've had a lot of fun being on the other side of it. So we're going to start a brand new lesson series next week, so make sure that if you haven't already, click subscribe down below so that you get email notifications whenever I post a new lesson. And also follow us on Facebook at the Norcross First United Methodist Church Facebook page. That is where I post our virtual classroom updates every single week, and that's where you can access our weekly lesson videos as well, in addition to some fun extra content. So parents, if you were watching this along with your kiddos, which I hope that you were, just know that I am happy to help you if you need resources or have questions. My email is below in the description of this video. But otherwise, have an amazing rest of your Sunday, enjoy the awesome fall season, and remember that God is with you always, and he has a plan to make things awesome. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you next week for our new lesson series.